I will say that I am speaking on behalf of the governor, and I am making sure that the facts get out there. No one is apologizing to the governor for making up a conspiracy theory that this had anything to do with anything else other than budgetary and policy matters. This governor isn't receiving an apology for making up all this stuff. I'm speaking on behalf of the governor right now when I say that she reassigned Walt Monaghan for budgetary and policy differences.
The governor aside, I think the governor is a good person who I think made a big mistake in cooperating in your effort to stop this investigation. That was her big mistake. But she was right in agreeing to the investigation in the first place. She was right in saying the investigation was needed in the first place. She was probably wrong in letting the McCain campaign try and stop it, and that's when you came in. But really, I don't really care about the governor issue. My question to you was, for the really pretty rotten things you've said about Steve Branchflower, Walt Monaghan, and Hollis French, you called a former Marine insubordinate. That's not an insult? You called a former Marine a rogue. That's not an insult? You don't think that's an insult? You owe him an apology.
Walt Monaghan did not agree and went behind the governor's back. By definition, that's insubordinate. Do I think that Walt Monaghan served the public? Yes. Walt Monaghan was a great Marine. Walt Monaghan served the public for decades. Absolutely. But he went behind the governor's back, and he differentiated with her on budget and policy issues.
Let's be clear, because you're going to get yourself in trouble by not telling the truth about somebody in public. When you tried to create your little fiction that he went behind the governor's back, what you failed to do was release the travel authorization that showed that he had the governor's authorization.
That travel authorization said, meet with Senator Lisa Murkowski. Guess what? After that, found out he wanted to lobby the Congress for earmarks, Representative Gara. That he's explicitly, as outlined in numerous emails, he did not have permission for, and
I'm not going to argue with you. If I personally attack people the way you did, I would apologize to them. If I called a former Marine whose father received a Congressional Medal of Honor for his fighting in the Korean War, for his ultimate sacrifice in the Korean War, if I went after somebody like that on behalf of a campaign to get votes, if I sort of acted that way, I would apologize to them.
My family continues to make those sacrifices. My grandfather was a decorated Marine, and my brother is a decorated Marine.
And I've never insulted them. That's the difference between you and me.
There is no insult to his decoration as a Marine. There is a difference in policy and budgetary matters with the governor of the state of Alaska, who remains and has the authority, proper and legal authority, to reassign a commissioner when they disagree on an issue. That is why this governor reassigned Walt Monaghan.
Your answer is you're not going to apologize. That's fine. That's fine. I would apologize if I insulted somebody like that. That's all. My only question to you was,
I laid out the facts, Representative Gara. I laid out the facts.
You don't have to apologize to people. You get to insult them. You don't have to apologize to them. I mean, I understand what you did.
It is unfortunate that some are perceiving it as anything other than laying out the facts.
I think you should probably take a look at the videos. I think you should take a look at the 3-time-a-week press conferences you held every day. I think you should take a look at the pictures. I think you should take a look at the pictures that you put on TV. Right?
And quotes in papers.
The little pictures where you put a circle around Walt Monaghan's head. The little pictures where you put a circle around Steve Branchflower's head. The little fake thing you did to try and tell people in the lower 48 that Republican prosecutor Steve Branchflower was somehow a Democrat. The little sort of fake picture you tried to create for people in the lower 48.
We said Steve Branchflower had connections to Hollis French, to Walt Monaghan, and that Linda Branchflower had connections to Walt Monaghan. That is all factual.
We all have connections to everybody in this state.
That is all factual.
This is a small state.
Okay, then why pull somebody in from South Carolina who's not even a member of the Alaska Bar? Wasn't for a good full week of the investigation. Well, if you look up when Steve Branchflower actually became a member of the Alaska Bar, it wasn't until, more than a week into it.
Are you challenging Steve Branchflower's Alaska roots? He was a prosecutor here for 20 years.
No, I'm saying you pull in certain individuals to cover this when there are many other opportunities as well. There was a connection with Hollis French, with Walt Monaghan, and Linda Branchflower to Walt Monaghan as well. This is one of your worst
spins. Steve Branchflower, you know, was hired.
Fact.
You know he was hired because they wanted to hire somebody who was not biased towards Walt Monaghan. So
well, guess what? Even legislators said they wish they had known that there were all these connections.
You know why they hired Steve Branchflower, because Branchflower had issued a report, the only other public report he had issued, which was critical of Walt Monaghan. So they hired him knowing that they had a guy who couldn't be accused of being biased by anybody other than you, actually.
Actually, no. Numerous legislators after it was revealed, they said.
The only question, really, we don't have to argue this stuff. I mean, you can sort of engage in your spin as much as you want.
You're the one asking the questions.
The only question was, will you apologize?
I think he's calling you a liar.
Will you apologize to the people you've attacked?
You're calling me a liar. That's what everybody else is saying.
You're not going to apologize. I would apologize.
Apologize for laying out the facts?
It would have been nice if you laid out the facts, but
I
you did
laid out the
something
facts.
else here the
I'm
last
glad
2
you
weeks.
said I laid out the facts. Thanks.
I'll shake
Nice
your
to
hand,
see
but
you,
I still think you owe an apology.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Mr. O'Callahan owes these guys an apology too, so you might relay my message to him. Okay.